Good Lord. I remember these being made in the mid to late 80s. They were put into tower systems by Amstrad, Binatone, Murphy. Who was the other one? Started with an S. Yes, I think we know, but what the S stood for. But these things were pretty horrible then, and are still pretty horrible now. This is the made in China version. And I'm not running it down simply because it's made in China, but simply because it's been put together with so little thought and so badly put together at that. The ceramic pickup that they provide only has the one stylus. You can't flip it over like you could the old models. And yet the machine can play 78s, rather noisily, I hasten to add. Now if you're going to play LPs and 78s, you need that flip over stylus, or you need another set that is devoted to one or the other. Because if you play a ratty old 78 with the LP needle, and you then go and play another LP, the chances are that the ratty 78 will have done untold damage to the needle itself, and that will in turn bugger your LP record. Nice, I do not think. At least on the older design of this arrangement here is a screw hole, and there's another one there down here under the turntable, and they were to be undone before you used it, and it floated on springs. This thing doesn't even do that. It's screwed straight to the MDF, and that's your lot. So if you accidentally brush the thing, let alone knock it, it'll skip. Yeah, nice, I do not think. The speakers, as you can see, were at the side and tiny. And there's another problem, because with this rigidly fixed down, vibration from the speakers can find its way back up the tone arm and create a rather nasty sort of howling sound or what have you. That was why they used to make them float on springs. Another thing about it is the tiny little transformer, a minute little thing, and when you're going through a loud passage, it hasn't got a hope in hell of maintaining enough voltage in the system's amplifier, weenie though it is, and you end up with, yes, you've guessed it, more distorted sound, and of course slowing down or speeding up of the record platter, I suppose. This one is truly ghastly. This is as it came out of the machine, but look at the flex in it. You're never going to be able to play a record properly because this thing tracks heavily. So the minute you put that tone arm down, it's going to make the turntable lean this way, which will cause undue wear and tear. I haven't interfered with this in any way whatsoever. I've simply removed it. I've literally just taken it out. And it looks to me as if what they haven't done is to do this nut up properly when they made it, so condemning it to a life of ruining records, as if it wasn't going to do that anyway with this cartridge. Little belt drive thing. The belt appears to be alright. It hasn't turned to goo. It's still fairly tight and what have you. There's your little tiny DC servo motor, which actually has a brass pulley on it with what pretends to be a flywheel. So it's not quite as crapulous as some of them are, believe me. But it's still not really the sort of thing you'd want. Don't really know whether to even dare to call this a record player and risk the wrath of people all over the interweb. Well, you know what I mean. So there you have it. The build quality of these things is absolutely piss poor. The sound output isn't that brilliant. where they convert it to this much vaunted MP3 format, it often isn't that good again. And sometimes a 1960s portable will actually sell better than one of these if you play it through an amplifier. Yeah, and even if you don't, say no more. And yet people still go out and pay a fortune for these heaps of crap. And this is a heap of crap. It's all made of MDF, covered in Fablon, and it's a world of badly drilled holes and gungy glue daubed all over the place. Look there. What they've done that for I don't know, because you've got what amounts to a bin bag tie there in a stable. Surely they could have done the same thing here. The mind simply boggles. The speakers are actually quite big for equipment like this. I have come across them where all there is inside is a pair of laptop speakers fitted to a sort of plastic trumpet thing, in the vain hope of making it sound a little bit more mellow than it really does. But
they really sound like this, to be honest, as if they've got their fingers on their nose.
And that's without the dodgy speed setting. I haven't tried this one for speed set, but you can see how poor it is, and look at the way they've secured these cables. They've obviously had a slot in this casting, and they've just brought the soldering iron along in the factory like that, and that's it. That's all you get. Nice, I don't think. It looks to me like that there is the speed trim pot for the whole thing. So what these two are, well, who can say? But as you can see, there is no way at all of altering the tracking force. Nothing whatsoever. There's a hole there from the old Amstrad Binatone days, and inside there was sometimes a little screw that you could adjust, and that would retension the tone arm. But even my old Philips equipment from the 60s and 70s with its GP200 plug-in head shell, they track at about 2 to 4 grams. The old BSRs and Sonotones and what have you, Garrards, I suppose the ceramic ones on them were anything between 2 and 6. But because the thing was solidly made anyway, it didn't matter. It wasn't going to mess up your record, and there was usually some way of adjusting the tone arm weight. The ways by which you differed, and the way by which you did it differed, but it was there. But with this thing, what you've got is what you've got, and what you've got is a pile of yes, exactly. See you soon.